Hey, what's up? I'm Anthony, and in this video you'll learn 10 steps for the best setup when starting your mix. Following these steps will give you a great foundation and increase your workflow. Well, I got through it, that's good. It gets lonely over there writing. Let's get right into it. Step 1, know how to listen. To mix a song, you use your ears. They tell your brain what is louder and quieter. The louder you listen to your mix, the more likely you'll perceive an ideal mix balance. Loud levels will change your perception of higher and lower frequencies. This could affect your decision making when mixing. Listen to your music at low levels when mixing. Loud enough so you can hear every element in the mix, but quiet enough so you can have a conversation in the room. Occasionally check your mix at higher and lower levels.
You know what I would love is if you could take that line there and maybe like lift it up.
Okay. Practice this with a reference track. Take a track that's similar in style to the song you're mixing and listen to it at a low volume. Ask yourself the following. Which elements in the mix are loudest relative to the others? Which sounds are panned in the stereo field? And which parts occupy specific frequency ranges? Step 2, prepare your tracks. To do this, I'm going to take my tracks and color code them and organize them by instrument. I'm going to use the song 6 Feet Deep by Haviitz as an example. I've imported the stems into my DAW. Organizing your tracks by instrument and color coding them will save you a ton of time in the long run. This is also a good moment to manage any fades or crossfades and cut any unwanted noises. Keep the drums and percussion together and label them green. Bass and guitar I'll label blue. Organ and synth I'll label red. The vocals I'll label orange. And the effects I'll label purple. Step 3, leave headroom on your tracks. This will help you with your mix and avoid distortion on the master channel. It will also allow plugins to operate in the range where they sound the best. You can do this in a couple of ways. Your first option is the utility tool. This track may have been recorded a bit too loud. Instead of using the fader, I'm going to use the utility tool and bring the gain down to a healthy level. The second way is adjusting the clip volume of your audio files. The lead vocal track is very dynamic in some sections. I'm going to split the track and use the clip volume to match the levels. Doing this allows you to lower the volume of your track before hitting any plugins. Remember, the fader is last in your effects chain. Step 4, start with the loudest part of your mix. Set your locators to loop the loudest section of your song. This could be the verse, the chorus, who knows, you might even have a banging intro. The loudest part of this song is here. I'm going to set my locators around it and turn on my loop button so it loops around. Now I'm ready to start mixing. Step 5, identify the most important elements of your mix. It could be the bass, the drums, the guitar. There's no wrong answer, just pick one and start. I have all my faders all the way down. I'm going to bring my kick up to a healthy level so I can start to bass the other tracks around it. The next most important part of this track is the bass. I'm going to listen to the kick drum while I bring it in. This way they won't be fighting each other. This leads us to step 6. Be aware of the relationships between tracks. As you bring more tracks in, be aware of how they're interacting with each other. For example, I have this organ track that's fighting with the synth track. To create some space between them, I'm going to pan one to the left and one to the right. This works well with tracks that have similar sounds. As a general rule, tracks with low-end information will usually sit down the middle. Step 7. Check your mix in mono. You've probably heard of it. Mono means there's only one channel of sound. It's basically used in devices with only one speaker. Mixing in mono will help you become aware of certain issues in your mix. It might highlight some phase or level problems that you couldn't hear in stereo. To do this in Ableton Live, take the utility tool and put it on your master channel. Press the mono button and make adjustments as needed. Step 8. Use automation to create interest. After mixing with levels and panning, I'll use automation throughout the track. This will give sections of the song with different dynamic ranges some movement. Step 9. Take a break. Your ears will get tired, and they won't tell you. You might make bad decisions. Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tubeman. A great technique to follow is the Pomodoro technique. It's named after a tomato, so you know it's legit. Set your tomato timer for 25 to 40 minutes, do some mixing, and then take a break for 5 minutes, preferably away from your computer. Your ears will thank you, and you'll make better decisions in the long run. Step 10. Compare your mix to your reference track. Now that you have a good mix going, go back to your reference track and compare the levels. Remember, before comparing, turn down the levels of the reference track. It might already be mastered. Make adjustments as needed. Don't get discouraged, you've only just set your levels. The reference track is the goal you want to get to, and you will. Now that you have a great foundation to start with, add EQ, compression, and all kinds of effects to further shape your sound. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Give us your thoughts on what you'd like to learn next. Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch the latest from LANDR. Short and sweet. Have you seen the RV guy? I feel like him. The RV. He's like doing the infomercial. Yeah.